A recent Harvard report found that more than 60% of grades given to university undergrads are A's. And that's a significant jump from 2 decades ago when only a quarter of grades were A's. Last week, the school's Faculty of Arts and Sciences was scheduled to hold a vote on a controversial proposal to curb so-called grade inflation by limiting the number of A's given per class. But that vote has been delayed until May to allow for extended discussion. Free Press columnist Arthur Brooks tackles this issue in his new article entitled "Grade Inflation Won't Make You Happy." In it, he makes the case for why grades need to be deflated despite the pain it may cause for students in schools. He's also a professor at Harvard Business School, an author, and a CBS News contributor. You should know him well by now, and we should also note CBS News and the Free Press share the same parent company of Paramount Skydance. Arthur, good morning to you. Great to see you. So in your view, what are these forces at play that led to grade inflation in the first place? And why is that a bad thing?
Well, I mean, it sounds great. You know, our students are all above average. They're all really great. The truth is, our students are great at Harvard University and at many universities around the country. They're terrific. They work really hard. But that's not the point of grades. Is actually to differentiate students one from another so that we reward the people inside the university that are doing the best work. And so when they come out of university, we can differentiate between them when they're going to get jobs, is what it comes down to. And when you say, okay, we're all above average, kind of like the old Lake Wobegon effect, what that does is it makes it harder to reward the people that are doing the best work and harder to distinguish between them when they graduate. And that's why we need to deflate, just like prices, just like money.
Yeah, in your article, you make a lot of comparisons to grade inflation and economic, actual, literal inflation, and you kind of make your case for why grades should be deflated. Explain that analogy.
Well, when money is going up continuously, it sounds really good. You know, typically inflation is a monetary phenomenon. Governments and central banks, they just print a whole lot of money because they want to spend it. They want to use it for something. That's called a policy of easy money. And it looks great, except that you get more and more dollars chasing the same amount of goods and services, and the prices go up. That's hard on consumers. It makes it impossible to compare what's relatively expensive and cheap, really inefficient, even leads to corruption, is what we find. I'm an economist, so that's really my background is what we find. And it kind of works the same way with government. It looks, I mean, with grades, it looks really good. You want to reward people that you find, you know, they're good, and you don't really want to do the work of differentiating between them because that's kind of a pain. And a lot of professors in modern academia, not just my institution, they're afraid. I mean, they're afraid because it's been a very activist time in academia. So it's like I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to give everybody really high grades and be done with it. That way I'm not going to have any complaints, but it works the same way as money. Lots and lots and lots of money chasing the same amount of goods and services. Inflation, and nobody likes inflation.
And you say that it effectively makes it harder to identify the exceptional students. And so if the fix here is a reduction, a deflation, it may be painful for students in classes, but is that, as is true with inflation, the better thing to do?
It is the better thing to do. And I know that as a matter of fact, because I teach at a part of Harvard University that doesn't have grade inflation. At the Harvard Business School, look, it kind of works like a business and not like a government in lots of ways. It's a wonderful place. They have a curve, a forced curve. If I try to give more than 20% top grades in my classes, that thing will tilt like a 1970s pinball machine. The registrar literally can't take my grades. If I try to give less than 10% threes, which is what we call C's at the Harvard Business School. And you know how many complaints I get from students? Zero. They don't, because they know that that's actually how it works. They're going to be graded with respect to an actual curve. And that's what we're going to need to go back to all across academia, I think.
A fascinating take. We always appreciate your insight, especially on this Friday. Arthur Brooks, thank you. Get out there and enjoy your weekend.
Thanks, Earl. Great to see you.